Now might be a good time to finish my water walk. This would be part 3, I guess. The battery ran ran out on me the last time. Don't usually see that many Canadian geese on the pond. What is that, 6? There's often 2 or 3. I wouldn't be surprised if they take off while I'm filming. Molly Falls. Here's about where I left off. This is the bank that I was saying I think was mine spoil, or not topsoil really, but bulldozed over that to fill it in. And I could never get anything to grow there, in spite of the fact that I've irrigated it, I've seeded it. And interestingly enough to me, it gets used by the snapping turtles sometimes. They'll come up here and they'll lay their eggs. They'll come all the way up here from the pond to lay their eggs. It's getting wild looking again because I don't have as many cows as I had before. But my plan is going to be to go with the goats, and it'll take a year probably, or more. But I think the goats will do it. Well, here's this would be Jeffrey Ditch, coming from Jeffrey Weir, and it's heading to Barbie Falls. I got to step over the fence. Maybe before I do that, though, I'll show you that there are there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, there's 4 ditches that run along here that irrigate. And see, if I mow this too, that would make a real big difference, which I'll do eventually. Don't have a bush hog. And then down in there was very hard to drain. Because there were foundations there. All right, now I'm going to go over the fence. My son's garden. Crown vetch. I believe that's what that is. That's aggressive stuff. I wonder if the goats will eat it. Anyway, this little falls here, I guess for the time being I'm going to call it Barbara Falls, after my mother. But down there, it's a low falls. I had these two together, this one and the one I'm heading to. I had them together, a pipe coming from back there all the way over here, and it was the kind of pipe you used to fill silo. And I dropped the water here. It was an enormous drop of water, probably the highest falls on the farm. Now I've got it separate. Maybe if I move the camera slowly you can understand. One falls, and then I bring it along here, and probably I will make this, I'm not sure what I'll do here. This is Barbie Falls. It could be one very high water wheel if the first one that I build is enough fun, or I don't know, I'm not sure what it is. I had thought actually about building a greenhouse over it. Anyway, Barbie Falls. And I even dug underneath the lane to get the maximum depth that I could get. Really, the fall goes all the way to, let's see if I can zoom in on it. All the way to, I don't know if you can see those 2 tussock sedges. They're growing along a ditch right there. That's how much of a fall I have here. A German girl and she was a foreign exchange student. Oh, what was her name? I can't remember right now. We had a lot of fun one hot day laying these stones here. I gotta redo it. Nicole, I think, was her name. There's Barbie Falls from below. Up where the cat is where I would start to fall, and then it goes under the lane here. Not very much water going over at the moment because I haven't worked on it. I'm letting most of the water go. I had quite a hard time draining this area, and I didn't know why. Eventually I figured out there was a foundation here, and they leave their mark. All right, we're going to go over there. That's called Adam Weir. As I approach Adam Weir, maybe I should point this out too, because here's an angle you can see it. There's a foundation here as well, and these are buildings that they almost certainly had to do with the ore and maybe washing the ore. I've wondered if there wasn't even a water wheel here at this point. There's features I just do not understand, but there's just no doubt that there was a building here. In the ditches, and I don't know if the water's clear enough to be able to see it, but as you walk along the ditches, you can step on the rocks. Yeah, I'm just not so sure that we can see where they are, but I always feel it. With the bottom of my feet through my tinglies and sneakers, I feel exactly where that foundation is. Well, this is a ford. My grandpap had a bridge here, but I'd washed out many times and I put it back, and eventually I gave up and made it into a Ford. Kids in school used to argue over what were better, Fords or Chevys. I said, well, I wasn't sure, but I knew that Fords were better than bridges. My own little sad joke. This is a level spot right here. That's why it's so hard to drain. It's because of the foundation. And this is a hatch. If I open it, I can drain that whole area out through there. If I close it and make it tight, I can run the water all the way to Jess Falls, which is right at the Beast. Now, I don't think I'll film as I go down through here, but again, it's so hard to drain this because there's foundations. There's about, well, see, I don't know what they are. They're along that creek, and I think it has to do with the washing of the ore, probably. Cat's coming along with me. This is one of those places. It's too grown up to really be able to see it, but there's a dugout place here, and right over past that alder, there's a dugout place. And I have wondered before if there wasn't maybe a double water wheel or something. Oh, there they go. You can probably hear the Canadian geese going. Well, I got high hopes for my goats. I could use a big flock for a while. This is Frank Weir, I guess. Feels weird to have a Weir named after me. I usually name after other guys, but I named it that because the water eventually goes to supply Jane Falls, which is under the mill. But before that, it goes to Molly Falls, and that's where we'll head now. As you can see, I let most of the water just go by. Aha. Russian olive. Boy, there's not some, well, people call it autumn olive too here. The old timers tend to call it Russian olive. There's so much of that here. That's what that white is all on that hillside. On the part that I own, my wife and I own, my son and I have cut most of it out. And the goats do eat it. It's not here quite the problem it is elsewhere, but it's just basically taken over many fields. And probably all over Pennsylvania. Ohio too, for all I know. All right, and I shouldn't film it. Oh, I should point out that is a Dawn Redwood. There's 3 on the farm, an exotic import really. They like water, that's why I planted it where I did. They thought they were extinct. They only knew it from the fossil record, but then they found some in China. Now they're growing, well, they're being introduced around the world. Russian olive again. It's a sweet smelling, very sweet smelling plant. And here we are, back at Molly Falls. And I would say this would be a good place to end my water walk.